So, today we're gonna talk about some Reddit things. We're gonna go through some posts, we're gonna see what we can find, and so on and so forth. The first one, once again by the Stoicism subreddit: should I live a simple life and be idle? Since I graduated university, I found that my chosen industry is very hard to get into. I'm bad at socializing and I don't know how to network, and doubt with Corona things are going to get any easier. No, they're not gonna get easier, but isn't easy boring? Question mark. My family's pretty laid back and upper middle class. When I asked them if I can just do nothing with my life, they were like, do whatever makes you happy. I used to have a lot of passions and aspirations that died because I was such a perfectionist and wanted to take everything to a professional level, and realized that it's going to be much harder than anticipated. No, anti-capitated. I wanted to travel the world and work, however, reading anti-capitalist literature. Bullshit jobs is a favorite, and joining subs like anti-work and seeing how hard 9-to-5s are become immediately disillusioned. Since then, I kept trying to find something to become passionate about, but it's been really hard. So is it really about like having a quote-unquote simple life? And for me, a simple life is not working. For me, it's a simple life like, simple. You're going to work and you're doing the simple things. You're doing those things that, nothing too much, nothing too little. It's just simple. It's like, ideal or idle or whatever. Anyway, I don't necessarily think that doing nothing all day long is going to make anybody happy. And I also don't necessarily think that doing what is easy always is going to make one happy. Definitely not. I think that, actually doing those things that are incredibly hard and difficult to be worthwhile. Also because you're going to be proud of yourself and you're going to be proud of you achieving that then or finishing that then. So yeah, I would really not advise to lay back all day long and whatnot. I would actually go for those difficult things, Of course it is difficult. A lot of things are difficult. Guess what? Whether it is physically difficult or mentally difficult, a lot of things are, but most often those things are pretty much worthwhile. All the hassle and all the pain and whatnot. You're going to transform as a person. You're going to be a different person then, but if you just don't go through those things, guess what? Your chance of evolution, of changing yourself, of becoming better, of becoming a different person in a good sense, not in a bad sense, you're going to minimize them by just always trying to be quote unquote safe and playing it safe and, doing nothing and being comfortable and so on and so forth. How to keep going after a breakup? I'm feeling so lonely. It's just going to take some time, and I can actually, this is one of the topics that I think I can really talk out of experience. I mean, I've been, because of heartbreaks and whatnot, I've been broken so many times. It's actually, I don't know, like it is a reoccurring theme in my life, that I'm actually only getting fucked just because of, girls, quite in the end. And it's pretty funny, it's pretty funny that also most often it is kind of the same scheme and things are happening in the same way anyway. It is just gonna take time. My breakup now is, I think it's actually been a year ago or something. Maybe it's been 11 months, 10 months, something like that. And I'm doing amazing. It's actually not something that I'm kind of pissed about. I'm not concerned about it. I'm not, am I thinking about it? Yeah, I am, but not in the way of, okay, I wish it could be like that once again and whatnot. No, I'm fine with being alone. I'm fine with being whoever I am and fine with doing whatever I do and whatnot. I mean, life is amazing, You don't need somebody. And you shouldn't also be in need of somebody to have a happy life. This doesn't make any sense, Of course, we are social animals, and of course, we need other people, and it makes sense to favor just not being alone and so on and so forth. But the thing is, why would you base your happiness on somebody else? Why? If this person goes away, if this person dies and whatnot, you're gonna be devastated. What is the sense behind that? Why would anybody do that? Doesn't make any sense. But I don't want to say like, okay, hate your girlfriend or hate your boyfriend, you should not rely on them, you should whatnot. No. It makes sense that you're gonna be happy and that you're gonna feel better and that you're gonna have a pretty good life with somebody else that you enjoy spending time with. Of course, this makes sense. We all need friends and family and loved ones. But basing everything on them, I wouldn't necessarily say that this is the best idea. You cannot be the person you're desiring to be in an environment that produces the version of you that you are trying to outgrow. Some food for thought. Well, it depends, in my point of view at least. I mean, you can, just because you are a certain person, because you're living in a certain environment, doesn't mean that you are this certain person because you're living in this environment, and that everybody that is living in this environment is going to be a certain person or a certain type of person. It is up to you, and it is not up to the environment. This might just be a really easy way to be like, whoa, okay, I can't change. I don't want to change, because of the environment. It's not because of me, of course not. It is because of all the people that I'm surrounded with, But, there have been multiple people that grew up in certain areas of the world where things are really not easy and really not good, in terms of growing up to be successful and so on. But they still did it. They really still did it. So it is not about the environment. As well as it's also not about your circumstances, Studies have shown, and also in terms of happiness, it's definitely not about your circumstances, but it's not about the environment. It's about one, and it is also about one's perception of your environment. Of course, if you think that everything around you is shitty and a piece of shit and whatnot, then this is what it is gonna be then. But if you think about it in a more positive way, or at least in a more neutral way, like, okay, this is where I'm living. This is where I live in, but it's not making me, it's not changing me. It is, well, of course, it's influencing you. But in the end, I would argue that we ourselves are deciding whether this is going to make us a certain person or not. Image, I didn't come this far. I didn't come this far, I've only come this far. Unknown. This is an amazing quote. Nothing else to say there. Autobiographies of people with unusual professions. I just finished Geisha, A Life of Mineko Iwasaki, and really enjoyed it. It was so fascinating to read a first-hand account of what it's like to be a geisha, because that is an experience so few people have. By the way, there's actually a pretty good movie, and I was lucky to have such a good, let's call it theology, if it is the right word, I don't know, teacher in... what is it? I think it is not high school. It is, the one below, quite, if you know what I mean. But really interesting person, the teacher, but also the movie. And there was a reason why we have watched this movie. I don't remember it, but I know that it is a good movie, and I know that my teacher really thought about something. And, he's a doctor and shit, and he was. Well, he probably still is, but proud to incorporate at least 30 to 45 minutes of work a day for over a month now. I'm happy to announce that I've carried on the daily workout streak for over a month, and that is one of the biggest changes of my life so far in 2021. My body is getting in shape now, and I am at a very low fat, and I am more active throughout the day. Special thanks to this thread deciding to be better. David Goggins, Mika Singh, and numerous other people who redefined their lives through discipline and inspired me big time. Last but not least, myself. yeah, we can say that. One can say that. If you have achieved something, and if you have done something, you can also be proud of that. And you can also feel good about it. You can feel good about your achievements and what you did and what you've accomplished. Today I learned in Cuba, picking up hitchhikers is mandatory for government vehicles if passenger space is available. What the thing is, how can you say that passenger space is available? I mean, it's like, there probably are so many laws that are not being fully obeyed, in terms of, okay, it is up to some factors that one can easily, quote unquote, manipulate and or lie about, and nobody cares anyways. So let's see. I started making and selling ceramics after being laid off at the start of COVID, and now I'm doing fine, probably. How to deal with group mates being incredibly rude. Kinda long. Is this more than this? Yeah, well, this is definitely more than this. So I'm gonna choose something else. Toy company. I'm a bad person. I don't know how to fix anything or make anything right or move forward. This isn't a woo-woo feel bad for me and tell me I'm a good person post. I don't even know where to start, so I guess I'll just get to it. All of this that I'm talking about happened from like second grade to my freshman year of college, and there is stuff I'm not mentioning. Though this is the worst of it all by far, I've made and laughed at racist and anti-Semitic jokes about stereotypes and such in high school with a boyfriend and his friends. With a boyfriend. I've lashed out at some of my friends way too harshly. I bullied others when I felt like no one cared about me. I've said offhanded comments that were inconsequential and inoffensive to me, but really hurt people I cared about. I know part of this literal terribleness is desensitization and meanness brought on from a less than ideal childhood and all, with emotional abuse and the like from parents. Family, friends, and I blah blah blah. And I only say that because it always played into my meanness and blah 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 bloop. Do things better from now on. There isn't too much you can do to change the past. And as fun as it is, and I don't know if you've seen this and or listened to this episode, but I've reviewed an article by the howtobeastoic.com site, and which was basically about the exact same thing. A person being extremely bad up to a certain point, up to now, and actually now realizing and seeking advice, stoic advice. And the advice was, first of all, you can change the past, but you can say sorry to all those people that you have hurt, and you can make things better, You can apologize, you can say sorry, you can do something for them, you can be there for them. If this is always gonna be running smoothly, probably not. Maybe there's some people that absolutely fucking hate you, and this is fine as well. You have to live with that, but in the end, you can't change the past. You can only really, really try hard to be as good of a person as you can be in the present and also in the future. But first of all, starting in the present, and then second of all, just going ahead with it in the future. But you can't change the past, and you shouldn't be also living in the past. Things have happened, and I also think about such things. I mean, there's some things that I did in the past, that I said in the past, and whatnot. And of course, it is not easy to be like, okay, it is the past, and I'm gonna forget about it, or I'm not gonna care about it too much. It's definitely not easy. It is simple, but not easy. The concept per se is simple, but doing so, as so many other things, is not easy. But realizing it and recognizing it and seeing that is kind of the first step to doing something about that. For those that need it, to whom this may concern, don't let the hard days win. And that's it, period. Yeah, don't let the hard days win. There's going to be an amazing amount of good days, an incredible amount of Amazing days that you don't want to end, or you don't want them to end. There's so many things that are going to happen in your life that are going to be just incredibly amazing, and it's just a matter of time. Of course, there's going to be some times, and there's going to be some days, and there's going to be some weeks, and there's going to be some periods of time and space where things aren't running as well as you would like them to run. But there's also going to be some days that are going to be really fucking amazing. It is what it is. Life is a cycle of good and bad, cycle of ups and downs, cycle of contrast, black and white. Even though black and white seeing and seeing things in black and white doesn't make any sense, there's so many facets to life, which also means that there's not going to be a good day, and there's also not going to be a bad day. There's going to be a better day, there's going to be a worse day. Some days things are going to run more smoothly, sometimes not as smooth, but this is fine as well. Would also be somewhat, boring if every day would be the same. And religion is not a scientific hypothesis, and the idea of God is transcendent in a way that precludes appeal to empirical evidence. Adrian Moore Oxford on God, Logical Positivism, and the New Atheists. Today I learned that Edwin Booth, the brother of John Wilkes Booth, Abraham Lincoln's killer, saved the life of Lincoln's son Robert by hanging on to him at a train station. Pretty interesting, but yeah. Can end the episode there. Hope you've learned something. Bye bye.